Good to see you, Fabian. How are you?
Thank you. Happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. The invitation, for having me. Everything is fine here. Thanks. You?
It's a pleasure. I'm doing well, mate. I'm doing well. It's been a good day.
Great, great.
I'm very excited about this masterclass. We are just waiting for a couple of minutes for the rest of people to connect. We have different people in different countries. And obviously with the time difference, it's always challenging. That said, this masterclass is being recorded for those of you who will be looking at this in different hours from your computer, from your mobile phone. All right, so let's just wait for a little bit. But meanwhile, it's good to have you here, Fabian. You are studying program management, yeah, which is a very advanced study in project management. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, you want me to explain the... Yes, no, sorry. No, I was, yes.
It's important for people to know that the program management is a very important qualification in terms of project management. So you can tell us a little bit about your experience as an entrepreneur. Meanwhile, that may be interesting, Mike.
Yes, no, my whole career, I define myself as a performing arts entrepreneur, and I was running different sides of projects almost my whole life, even in other industries. And in Melbourne 3 years ago, more or less, I had to continue studying, and I had the opportunity to check the project management course themes. And I thought, oh my God, this is just all the steps that I was following during my whole life, with different names, with different, with so many things for every single step. And then in that moment, when I started my course, of course, and very quick, I discovered that my whole professional life was changing in that moment, because I discovered that a set of tools that were so many, so interesting and helpful, and I was just in the paradise. And then I used to say that for me, before find and discover project management, was like drive your car with your windshield dirty. For me, it's a very it's a parallelism, very well parallelism, because when you are driving, your car is your car, you know how to drive, and you know where are you going, the city, your destination, and then you just drive and go. And after project management was like clean my windshields. Then yes, and then now I check first. I check my car. I check the petrol, and I take into account myself, how if I have all the resources that I need to arrive to my destination. I try and analyze before how the route, the path is, which condition is. I'm going to arrive on time. It's just fantastic. I highly recommend if someone is interested to do something like this. Is a magnificent tool. It's a before and after,
It's a before and after. You are right. Thank you very much for sharing your experience with us. I reckon it's very important for new students to realize what you have just described. Project management, definitely, 100% agree with you, will help you to clean the windows, for you to clearly see what is the direction you're heading to, what is around you, what are the obstacles, what are the risks, other cars, which will be other projects as well. So I really like that analogy, that short story that you have shared with us. And thank you, because that builds the knowledge base that we need for this kind of programs. Experiences like yours really counts. So thank you once again. Look, my name for all of you is Santi Vela. For all of you who are for the very first time experiencing the Diploma of Project Management from Lonsdale Institute and SOD, the School of Digital, this is a fantastic program. My name is Santi Vela. I have been doing project management for 15 years, different companies, my own companies as well, different countries, different locations, different challenges, of course, different people all the time. I've been teaching in Australia for almost 15 years as well, different institutions, different TAFEs, different universities. And right now we have this partnership with Lonsdale Institute to deliver what we believe is the most advanced diploma in project management right now in Australia. The reason why we think this way is because it's current. It's 100% current. We are talking about real project management. We are taking as a base the PM book, and we are taking as a base the PMP qualification, but we are giving it our own perspective in terms of how is project management done as I speak right now. And that adds a lot of value to you guys. All right. So any doubt, any question that you may have, you need to refer to Manuel, which is here with us today, for you to enroll in our program. We have enrollments every 6 weeks. So there is always an opportunity for you guys to enroll every 6 weeks. We have a new opportunity for anyone here to enroll, or for anyone who is watching this masterclass. Manuel, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone here, and also to tell a little bit about the program to our audience?
Okay, thank you. Yes, as a sales and marketing manager. And we started this project with Santi in Feb. And we are so proud because we think we can open the door of Lonsdale for a lot of international students from home. They don't need to be here in Australia, so they can be in Mongolia, Mexico, Colombia, Bolivia, Spain, Italy, wherever they are. And they can join us and enjoy with this magnificent program as it is Diploma in Project Management. So today we have the opportunity to have with us Santi Vela with this masterclass, and it's recorded. So we will share with many people because we have many inquiries from South America, especially Colombia and Argentina, Chile. And I think there is late for them now.
Yes.
So I think it's 11 p.m. But they will be able to watch this masterclass, of course. And if you have any question, you can contact me through my email, manuel@lonsdaleinstitute.edu, and we can give you more information about this good program. Thank you, Santi.
Thank you, Manuel. So remember the email, manuel@lonsdaleinstitute.edu.au for any inquiry that you have about our program. All right, the masterclass, today masterclass is about people. All right, so I remember when I first discussed this with Fabian a few days ago, he asked me, people, what do you mean with people, Santi? You remember that, Fabian? And I say to Fabian, look, it's all about managing stakeholders. It's about managing the project stakeholders. Now, the terminology here has been changed to engage stakeholders. All right, and I'm going to tell you why. Because managing people is not, it sounds rude, don't you think? You like managing stakeholders, it sounds like you are not taking in consideration that they are individuals from different backgrounds, with different expectations, with a different set of skills. So it is not that correct to manage their lives, to manage their expectations, to manage their knowledge, to manage their skills. What we try to do instead in this program is to teach you, project managers, future project managers, that is beyond managing. It's about engaging, it's about engaging with the stakeholders. So before I go deeper into this particular topic, I would like to explain to you what a stakeholder is. So a stakeholder is anyone at all that has any interest in your project. So any person, any team, any organization, any supplier that has somehow an interest in your project is a stakeholder of your project. All right. So now that this has been clarified, it's important also to define that we have internal and we have external stakeholders. So the internal stakeholders are those working or participating directly in your organization. They are, you see them, you know, you go to work next day and you will see them. They are working with you. They are working alongside you. They are part of the organization. They are the internal stakeholders. But we also have the external stakeholders. The external stakeholders are individuals that are working outside the organization, and of course, other companies, other firms, other suppliers. So they are the external stakeholders. We need to engage with them from the very beginning of our project. We need to engage with them from day one. And I'm going to tell you something, guys, and this is serious. I mean it. I mean it. If you don't engage with the stakeholders properly, your project will fail. That's simple. It's white and black. There is not a gray area here. There is not ifs or buts. No. If you don't engage with the stakeholders from the very beginning of your project, the project will fail. You could be the best project manager. You could have the budget of your dreams. You can have the best resources. You can have a timeline that will allow you to move in terms of managing the timing of that project. But if you don't engage with the stakeholders, the entire project will fail. And that is why I really care about this particular block, which is our people block. So our diploma in project management, Manuel, Jose Carlos, Bashka, Bayalma, Fabian, our diploma in project management is unique. Unique. There is no other diploma of project management in Australia like this one. Why is unique? Because we have divided in 4 blocks. The first block is what we call the baseline block. We get the basics of project management. We understand the concepts that are related to project management, the basic theory, the ABC of project management. And we have done that block. We did a masterclass about that block, by the way. You can access that masterclass as well if you want. Ask Manuel for the link. There is a link to the masterclass related to the baseline block. But then our next block was the people block. The people block is related to stakeholders and how you manage and engage stakeholders. And the masterclass today is about that block. The current block, the one that we are doing currently as I speak, is the processes block. And then we understand, we learn how to operate, the operations, the processes behind project management. And finally, and with this you graduate, we have the technology block. The technology block is amazing because now you have the technology in order to run project management, the software for you to actually execute project management. And with that, you graduate. For those of you who are in the tech number 1. So this is how it works. Please remember this, everyone, agents, students. We have 4 blocks: baseline, people, processes, and technology. And the reason we have that order is because for us, the most important thing, the baseline, is the basic knowledge, but then is people. People is more important than processes. People is more important than technology. The masterclass today is about people. Now, let's talk about how to engage people, stakeholders. Well, People are humans with different expectations about life, with different goals. You as a project manager, you need to smell, you need to realize, you need to visualize what is that individual motivation of that person working in your team. Is that clear? Does this make sense to you? Because if you cannot visualize, if you project manager, if you cannot visualize, if you cannot smell, what is that motivation of that individual, of that person working in your team, you will not engage with that individual. Some call this emotional intelligence. The point is not what is the concept that Vera reflects this dynamic. What really matters here is that you remember after this masterclass that if you do not understand what is the motivation, what is that makes that person tick, what is that makes that person excited and passionate, you will not engage with that individual. That's simple. Now, you may ask me, hey, Santi, but what are those motivations? What is that make people tick? How you can help us to visualize them? Here I go. Some people is motivated in terms of income and money. Fabian, would you agree with me that for some people, not for everyone, all right? But for some people, money, income is a very important thing?
Yes, definitely. I totally agree that for some people, just for some people, money is the motivation, you know. I think I can talk a bit more about this, but just to let you know that I'm agree with that. That is, some of our stakeholders definitely is going to be interested only, and their motivation is going to be money and increase her positions. Yes, definitely. I'm not sure if I understood your question.
No, that is it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And you actually answered it perfectly because you said some people, some individuals. And this is what really matters here. The project manager needs to visualize, needs to smell which individuals in the team are mostly motivated in terms of economical retribution, income, salary, bonuses. So that is one motivation, and we need to address it if that is the case. We need to observe it, and we need to accept it as a reality in project management. Now, there is another motivation that is not money. And that motivation is time. Is to have more time. For some people, money, okay, cool. It's good to have money. But what really matters to me, someone will say, is to have time, to have flexibility, to be able to have time so I can enjoy free time with friends, with family, with myself. So for some people, the motivation is actually what you're doing that will give me more time. If you can do that, and I can help you to achieve that, we engage. Because as a result of this engagement, my retribution will be more time. By the way, nowadays, it's a very important motivation to many, many people, having time. Now, we have discussed so far two motivations: time and money. What other motivation you think people may have? Let's stop for a second and let's do the exercise of thinking about it. Some people want money, makes sense. Some people want more time because they have kids or because they want to travel, okay? Or because they want more flexibility in the workplace. And they want processes that will make the work easier so they don't need to spend hours and hours doing something that is repetitive. As a result of it, they will have more time to do research, to read more, to enjoy the day-to-day work-life experience better. All right, so we have these two, but what is other motivation that really matters to people? Think about it. Recognition. Recognition. And that's why for some people, the title like product manager, or the title president, or the title administrator, or the title chief executive officer, or the title senior project manager matters. For some people, the title is more important than the money. Seriously. Don't you agree? Like, think about it. If you are 21, 22, you're starting your career, you have invested thousands of dollars in education. And then you go to a company and they tell you, look, we are going to pay you $60,000 and you will be the program manager support or the program manager assistant. And we pay you 60,000. And then you have another company that will tell you, we are going to pay you 45,000. This is a smaller company, but you will be the project manager. For the student, it's more important to have in that CV, in that curriculum, the experienced project manager than project or program manager assistant, because that will accelerate the career progression. So for the young person, the recognition, oh my goodness, matters a lot. Companies know this. Project managers need to know this. Why? Because when you discuss the tasks that the individual needs to complete, you need to tell, this is serious, guys. You need to tell that individual, that person, what they will get as a retribution if they achieve that task. I'm going to repeat this, all right? Just to clarify it one more time. When you start with a project, you meet with the stakeholders. Yes? Now, Manu, you have been in this class. You have been a student of this program.
Yes.
So when you project manager, when you meet with the stakeholders, you meet with them because you want them to give you what?
That they want to achieve.
What they want to achieve. What is that they want to achieve? What is that they want the project to achieve? So their department has a benefit. This is a negotiation. You think, seriously, you think that people will do something for you in project management just because they are nice? Just because they are good people? No, no. We need to understand that in business, facts matter. And the fact here is the following. We are all working. we are all working. Why? Because we want to help the company. Okay, I understand that, but also because we want to help ourselves. So you go and meet with the stakeholder. The stakeholder will tell you, this is what we want. And then you, as a result of it, will tell that person, all right, if this is what you want to achieve, these are the individual tasks that the team needs to complete. And if the team completes these tasks successfully, they will have a retribution. That retribution may be income, money. That retribution may be recognition in terms of a title. That retribution may be more time, more flexibility in terms of how they do the work that they do. So when you meet with these stakeholders, somehow with your questions, with your interviews, you try to find out what is that main motivation of each one of these individuals. And from that moment on, you engage with that person, always taking as a base that motivation. Now that we have discussed how to find out the motivations, let's discuss the term key stakeholders. So we have stakeholders, okay, but some of them are key stakeholders. Fabian, what do you understand by a key stakeholder?
Well, sorry. I understood that the key stakeholder are the main people interested in the project. You know, maybe could be a sponsor. Maybe a key stakeholder could be a sponsor who is going to provide the budget. Maybe we are running a project for some company that has that some institution, organization is paying the budget, the whole budget, for example. It could be a key stakeholder. A key stakeholder, I think that it could be also who is the project is going to impact. Maybe, you know, someone is going to be impacted, strongly impacted by our project. Maybe could be our beside the sponsor, could be our director in the organization. Could be yes, I'm going well.
You are going perfectly, Mike.
Okay.
And I am very happy to hear you because that demonstrates the quality of the diploma in project management at Lonsdale. That's really good. And you have mentioned the project sponsor.
Yeah.
The project sponsor, definitely 100% is a very important person in the project. But also we have the founder of the company. But also we have the board of directors of the company. But also we have other project managers. The group of people that have power and influence are key stakeholders. So the key stakeholder is someone with power and influence. And this individual, these key stakeholders could positively impact your project. Fabian, fantastic, really good definition. So the stakeholder could positively impact your project, but also may negatively impact your project. And this is one of the things that are not discussed in the traditional classroom. In the traditional classroom environment, what we say is you need to identify your stakeholders so you find out how they can help you with your project. And it makes sense. But out there, in the real business life, when you are a real project manager, you will find out that some key stakeholders, they do not want you to be successful with that project. And this is true, and I sign it. Is the reality of a business environment. Do you think, guys, that everyone in your company, they want you to be successful? Do you want that everyone in the company wants your project to go to a good final end? No. And I'm going to tell you why. Because some of those projects will make some people in the company redundant. Are you getting this? Fabian, is this something that you are getting? Jose Carlos. When you, as a project manager, you develop a project that will take the company from A to B, in that new environment, in that new time of the company, which is B, some people will not be required because of that very change that you have just executed as a result of your project. That group of people will not like you to achieve the project when you start planning it. And some of them may be very powerful stakeholders. I'm going to give you an example that is very, very common. Fabian, Manuel, you guys are here, so thank you for collaborating with this masterclass. I appreciate it. Do you guys know what an IT information technology, all right? What an IT department does in a company? What do you think? IT, what is the function of an IT department in a company?
Well, I guess that the IT, I'm working in performing arts, and I just know it's not my area, but I think that IT department could develop tools for develop a project. For example, the IT department also not only develop tools as one application, for example, to understand better the work of the organization. IT, I think that could develop internal systems for to make easily to automatize the work of the project. What the IT department, I think that also can analyze data, for example. They can run different tools, programs to understand better our selling, our product, our even our stakeholders. I think more or less that is my interpretation of our IT department,
which is accurate, totally, 100%. Again, you nail it. Again, you nail it. Now, you nail it in the sense that you said they develop systems to facilitate business operations. You didn't mention operations, but when you were saying day-to-day work, that is operations. Operation is what we do on a daily basis. So the IT department, they create from scratch systems for the company to optimize processes and to run operations. Correct. Now, the IT departments right now, 2021, are suffering, are having a really, really difficult time. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they are very expensive departments, Mike. They are very expensive departments. Some companies, as a result of COVID-19, they need to optimize. They need to optimize how they do their work, how they run their companies. And they are starting to analyze that running that IT department is a very expensive exercise. So a company may tell you one day, Manuel, how can we do this process? How can we run this operation without having to incur in this high cost, which is the IT department doing the process from scratch, doing the system from scratch? And then Manuel goes and says to the founder of the company, well, there is a company in Brisbane, there is a company somewhere that is developing a particular system that is much better than ours because they are specialized in that system. The entire company exists to develop that system. Whereas in our company, only the IT department is working on it. But in the other company, the entire company is working on it. So they have a world-class system. And they sell that system to us for a fraction of the price that we are paying the IT department to develop those systems from scratch. And the founder goes like, really? Or the project sponsor goes like, really? And you say, yes. And then the founder of the company tells you, you go and implement that technology. Run the project for us to implement that technology from that vendor. Let's do outsourcing. And then you communicate this new project to stakeholders. Guys, do you think that the IT department will help you? To achieve the goal, which is installing that new system? No. Why not? Manuel, why the IT department will not help you?
Why they will not help us?
Yes.
I don't know. Sorry.
Fabian, what do you think?
No, I think that maybe, you know, they has to work with an external resource. Then maybe they say, yes, they can reject this to implement the system from other for external provider. It has make sense? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I will paraphrase then what I have just said to you. Have a look at my whiteboard for a second, all right?
Yeah.
So you have the IT department here. And the IT department is doing one function. What is the function? Developing systems. Developing systems for the company to run the company operations. But what is the problem with these IT departments? They are very expensive to run because for them, it takes 2 or 3 years to develop a system because they start from scratch because the system is done in-house. Because the company believes that they should be owning the system. So one day, you project manager, you say to the owner of the company, you say, look, we have a solution to this problem. We can outsource the system to a third-party vendor and do something that is called outsourcing for this particular system. So you develop a project for that system to be applied in the company. Now, if this system is applied in the company, do you think that the IT department will be happy with it?
No, because we don't need them anymore, practically.
Well, this is just to give the example. Obviously, in real life is not going to be like this, but just to illustrate to maximum advantage what we are discussing here. Yes, if we have this system that is not as costly as this one, because the company is selling that system to us, but also to 1,000 other companies, then the cost is reduced dramatically. The project is to install this system. These stakeholders, the IT department, will not help you to achieve the goal of your project. You need to manage them. You need to engage with them for them to understand that if they want to survive in the company, they need to change the perspective. So instead of developing system from scratch, they support the new system. But for they to do that, they need to learn the new system. They need to participate in training programs. They need to adapt the processes for the new system. And some people, guys, pay attention. Some people do not like change. Some people do. I like change. For me, change always is something that is worthy to analyze. I don't accept it straight away, but I do stop. And if someone is telling me there is a different way to do something, I just stop and I analyze it. But for some people, it's like, don't even talk to me about changing. Because I am too old. Because we have been doing this for the last 20 years and it works fine. Nothing more dangerous than that perspective in project management. Nothing more dangerous than someone in the team or a key stakeholder telling you, we do this because this has been working well for the last 10 years. That is dangerous. That is how companies die. That is how companies are reduced to a fraction of the market share. The company that is okay with change, yes, of course, it's risky, of course, but it's more risky not to do anything. It's more risky to stay as you are, especially in 2021. This year, the world is changing, companies are changing. Is your company changing? Are your processes being updated? If the answer is no, let me tell you, you will disappear in the next few years. It's going to be too late, because by 2022, the leaders or the new leaders will have a new methodology to run their operations more efficiently, with less money, offering better customer services, better products, because they are using the technologies that are available to us, the methodologies that as a result of COVID are now available to us. So you need to manage the key stakeholders' expectations. So what we do, we identify the stakeholders. We understand that some of them are key stakeholders and some of them are not key stakeholders. So if you have someone that is not a key stakeholder, you need to keep that person informed. But if you have a key stakeholder, you need to have that person engaged with your very project. Any question so far, guys? Manu, Fabian?
No, from my side, Santi. Thank you.
Jose Carlos, you there?
Yes, of course, I'm here.
Appreciate it, Mike.
No, I would love to mention that I'm working in a new organization, and I'm quite surprised how the people is resistant to the change. You know, how is something funny, Manuel? No, okay. I'm quite surprised how the resistance for the change are. For example, I have some trouble with the marketing department, for example. That is something with, if you are new with new ideas, they can, you know, they have, it's really something, it's a risk that you have to manage, that there are so many people, so for so many different reasons, or stakeholders that can be resistant to the change. You know, that is quite surprising, because you think that maybe it's young people, maybe you are aligned with the values of the organization, with the members of the organization, but it's not like this, you know, and it's connected with when you were talking before about the main stakeholders. What are the reasons? And maybe when you are with new ideas that can drive to the next level in some stage the organization or your project itself, you can find people that is not interested to that happen, you know. And it's a big surprise for me. Yes, maybe this is another risk that we have to manage, the optimism, you know. Sometimes our assumptions are our expectations are more than and over the reality, you know. Yeah, I want to say that. And even if you yes, and even if you mention the IT department, technology is you know, there is yes, almost months over months, more months are coming. The technology is every time more and more easier to manage. I mean, ages ago we needed a department to manage, I don't know, our emailings, our contacts, you know, our newsletter. We have a department. We need someone who was writing our communication with our clients, our customers, and now you can automate,
yes,
automate this, you know, and maybe you don't need one IT. You just has to find to find and buy a system. For example, just a program that can do it for you. And even in the past, you have to pay for that, and even you can access for free. You know, then it's a huge change. Even in the accountant department,
oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, we needed a bunch of people working with and now, you know, it's a more automatized, more and more and more, and then it's unfortunately for the market of the work market, the employment market, we need less and less people to work in, you know. Everything is more.
But at the same time, we will need more and more people working in the new areas.
Exactly.
So
yes, exactly.
What people need to do is to understand that it's not up to the business to keep them forever just because they are employees.
Yeah.
The business should provide training for them to have an option to move from task A or from process A to process B. Exactly. The problem is when the person doesn't want to move because he or she has that idea that change is a threat. So for those of you who experience the threat of change, my advice is accept it. We cannot reject an idea when the idea has its right timing. So change is happening right now. Training, professional development, personal development is more important today than ever. I discussed this with Manuel, I reckon 2 months ago, about organizations in Australia. And we were talking about one of the most important things that organizations can do right now is to be like universities, is to be like schools, is to be like a place to go and work, but also to learn. Because that is how you help your employees. If a company wants to really help employees, if a company really cares about employer branding, if a company really cares about their employees, the company needs to be providing regularly training, regularly. So the employees could adapt quickly before anybody else to change. So thank you for that explanation, Fabian. The accountants are facing this. There is a software in Australia and all over the world that is called Xerox. And there is another one that is called MYOB. This software, they cost to a business like $50 per month and are basically replacing 80% of the work an accountant does, which is bookkeeping, to be honest. So the accountant needs to understand that, wow, if I am an accountant already, I need to move to do accountancy, consultancy, to be involved with developing softwares for accountancy, to be involved in training for accountants, but working as a normal accountant, like in the 80s, in 2021, no. Or if you want to study accountancy, you need to think, I want to be an accountant to work in a firm as an accountant, because if that is the mindset, you're dead already. But if you want to study accountancy in order to develop a business around accountancy software and solutions. All right, that's good. So yes, change is inevitable now, and we need to embrace it. All right, fantastic. So we have defined the first component, which is identifying our stakeholders. Then we need to analyze them. And then we need to plan. Then we need to plan how is that process for us to engage with them. So we have identified them. We know who will be in our team. We know who are our stakeholders. We have analyzed them. We know what is that motivates them. And our rhetoric, our communication with them is around that particular motivation they have. We have now developed a plan, which is how to engage with them, how often, at what time, what will be discussed, but also what will be the rewards program. And this is something that we discuss in our people blog, the rewards program. Modern project managers, they need to have in place a rewards program for those stakeholders and for those team members that are performing to best advantage. And that rewards program could be, if you do well in this project, you will be invited to the next project, for example. Or the rewards program could be, if you finish with this project properly and you complete all your tasks, once you finish, 3 weeks off. We pay for everything, but you have a good rest. Or the rewards program could be, you have finalized it with this project. Thank you for working this hard. What do you want to learn in the next 3 months? Do you want to do a master? Which one? We help you with that. But if the project manager doesn't, listen up, doesn't have a rewards program in place, the stakeholder will not be that engaged and the team member will not perform to best advantage. Because we humans, we want something back. We humans, it's okay. Like still 2021, and some people believe, some employees believe that the business, the employer, is the one with power. And you need to work for them. That is wrong. We all have power, employees and the business owner. And we work together. So the employee work with the boss, with the supervisor. And the work that the supervisor, the manager, the director, the owner do is how I can help my team so they become successful. So in the planning stage, it's about developing what? The rewards program. No, don't forget about it. You know, if you are in a project, Manuel, whatever project it is in your company, Lonsdale, I mean, I'm not talking about your day-to-day work, all right? Because in terms of your day-to-day work, you have things to do. And then you get a salary as a retribution. I'm not talking about that because that is called operations. That is what you do. I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about, Manuel, if you are involved in a project in your organization, the project manager should negotiate with you what will be the retribution that you will have if you complete the task that you have under your responsibility. If that project manager is not discussing this with you, the one that is failing is not you, but the project manager. Because projects are separate entities to operations. Guys, please understand right now, please, that projects are very different to operations, because a lot of people confuse project with operations. It's a headache. Operations, we run them all the time. We don't stop operations. If we stop operations, the company stops. So we run them, no stop. They are cyclical, they continue. We open the shop at 8 a.m. operations. We need to do that every week. We need to pay for the bills. We need to do that constantly. We need to engage with the stakeholders. We need to do that constantly. There are operations. We need to hire people for human resources. We do that constantly. But projects, they all have a beginning and they all have an end. Operations, they are continuous tasks and activities. That difference matters, and matters a lot, because the project is what makes the company to change. Are you getting this? Not the operations. The operations make the company to survive, to be sustainable. But the project is what takes the company to the next level. So the good founder, the good director, the good business owner will give relevance and more respect to the project manager than to functional managers. You are a manager as well, but they are functional managers. What is a functional manager, Manuel?
It's like the day by day. That day, for example, the office manager, admission manager. So it's every day how they work every day, and they control the work every day. But they don't change nothing. They don't propose nothing to change.
They are the marketing managers. They are financial managers. They are the business managers. They are all the managers. They have to do that day by day. They need to continue doing that because that is related to business operations.
Yes.
Whereas the project manager is not. The project manager is working, starting one day and finishing in 3 months or 6 months, regardless of the situation. The project manager is working for a period of time. Now, we need to understand once again, please, that projects, they have a beginning, they have an end. As a result of that, we do not have a team. We don't have a constant team. We don't have a forever team. But the marketing department, they have a team for 3-4 years working, the same people. The finance management department, they have a team that have been working the company for 10 years, 20 years. So they have a team. The project manager does not have a team. As a result of that dynamic, listen up, because we are getting to the end of this masterclass. As a result of that dynamic, you need to borrow. You need to borrow the team members for your team from who? From who you need to borrow the team members of your team? From who? Tell me.
From the functional managers.
Exactly right. And what is the only way for that functional manager to tell you, yes, no worries, take 2 or 3 people of my department to work in your project? What is the only way? What we need to give to that functional manager? Money? No.
I think it's having a great relationship with them.
Yeah, but the relationship is important as a starting point, of course. But they are not giving, they will not be giving you the people just because they are nice. Remember that I told you that.
Yes, you have to give them a benefit.
That's it. So you need to negotiate with them. You need to communicate with them. You need to discuss with them. If you help me with the people that I need from your department, my project within my scope will have a deliverable, a benefit that will make your department more efficient. And that is when you get people from that department. But if you don't say that, they will not give you the people that you need. So negotiating with functional managers is extremely important in this particular block, which is the people block. You negotiate with them, by telling them, I am the project manager, I need resources, I need your collaboration, but if you help me, I give you something back, which will be one deliverable within the project scope, something that will benefit directly the day-to-day operations of your department. And they will tell you, thank you, actually, that will be a really good future to have. Finally, we need to action. What is actioning? Actioning means making things happen. And here, you need to negotiate with a very important department of the company. And that department is, which one? The Human Resources Department. So the project manager, listen up, needs to be someone that has the confidence to go to the Human Resource Department to negotiate with them pay rises, higher ranks for those high performance of your team, pay rises for those high performance people in your team, more time, more holidays for those performing well in your team, for you to be able to action your plan as a result of the analysis that you did about the people that is working in your team, because you did the homework, which was identifying the key stakeholders and the stakeholders for your team. So this is what we learned in that particular block. As a result of that learning, everyone that is part of my class, now they have the confidence. So what is the outcome of our classes? Is you having the confidence to talk about project management. I want to highlight, for example, what happened today with Manuel. Manuel was, before this masterclass, Manuel was participating in a very important class that we have in project management in our program, that is facilitate continuous improvement. That was our previous class, just before this masterclass. And Manuel was flying in terms of the responses. My classes are, I ask, I ask, I ask. I make you feel uncomfortable. I make you to want, to read next time more, because otherwise you will be caught. And Manuel today was flying, but he was flying, you know why? Because he was confident about what he was talking about. So this is what we are building. We are building project managers. We are developing project managers that probably don't know about everything related to project management because it's such a big discipline. But when they talk with confidence. I want you to believe in this journey. I want you to believe that engagement is critical. I want you to believe that if you do not engage with the stakeholders, your project goal will not be achieved. As a result of it, it will fail. So I want you to remember that if you want to engage with people, you need to find out first what is the individual motivation of that individual. And then you need to say, thank you for letting me know this. Thank you for letting me know what is that you want, that you need in your life. If you help me with my project, because I am the project manager, this will be your retribution. And that retribution could be a pay rise, an income, shares. Why not? Why not shares? Yes, it could be. Let's open the discussion to shares. Let's open the discussion to pay rises. Or the retribution could be a different title, because probably that's what you need. Or the retribution could be more time for you to enjoy your life with family and friends. Thank you very much, guys, for having participated today in this masterclass about people management. I reckon we have discussed very important terms and concepts here today. Thank you, Fabian, for the extraordinary participation. I would love to have you as a student one day. Thank you, Manuel, as always, for your fantastic engagement with the classes, assistance and collaboration, and for having facilitated this masterclass. Jose Carlos, same thing, Mike. You were in the class 4 hours before, and now you are connected again. So I appreciate that. And for those of you who are watching the recorded class, ask Manuel about it. We can have your students, or we can have you in our next intake. Any questions before I finish, guys?
All good, all clear.
Anything that you want to add, Manu, before we finish?
No, I think it's very clear. So we will continue next week in our class on Saturdays, because our class is running Saturdays morning, 9 to 12 with Santi Vela, Melbourne, Sydney time. Okay, remember, it's that very important, because for Jose Carlos is in Mexico, it's different time, but we have a student from Mexico, we have a student from Mongolia. So little by little, we are growing with the students, and we got many inquiries this time for this masterclass in South America, but for them it's a little late, but they can.
So, yeah, it's about 11 p.m. So they will watch the recorded class?
Yes, they will. And we will send the link to them.
We will send the link today. Manu, I will send that link to you then. It takes about 1 hour for the link to be produced by the system, and then I will send it to you.
Good, perfect.
Thank you for Santi. Now.
Bye.
I will see you in class. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. And have a nice weekend to all of you.
You too, Jose. Thank you, everyone.